In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you about whether you should single task or multitask. Many people claim that they're good multitaskers, but that is rarely true. Instead, most people are very poor multitaskers because our brains are only developed to handle one task at a time. As a result, most people are better single taskers. Still, you might be wondering if there is ever a time to multitask. The answer is nuanced. Let's jump into the question now. When you should multitask. Multitasking is theoretically when you handle multiple tasks or skills at once. According to most experts, however, there is no such thing as multitasking. We can only do one thing at once. As a result, most people are serial taskers, not multitaskers. Serial tasking is when you jump from task to task in a rapid order. So you might type part of a work email, switch to reading your phone, and then go back to the email. In this example, you did not do the tasks simultaneously, nor did you complete them at the same time. There are some times when we do multitask, however. For example, you may drive your car and sing along to a song at the same time. A more productive form of multitasking would be listening to an audiobook while driving. You can multitask in this sort of scenario because driving and listening are both automatic abilities. In other words, you can do them on autopilot. For any task that cannot be done on autopilot, multitasking is not the most productive technique. Multitasking only makes your brain jump from task to task, causing you to do all of your assignments poorly or haphazardly. When you should single task. Since you can multitask on autopilot, but not when you have to think about what you're doing, you should single task whenever the activity requires your attention and intentional effort. Single tasking during these times will allow you to be more productive and focused, as well as benefit your performance. Given that most activities we do require intention, you should be single tasking throughout most of your life. Though this may sound exhausting at first, your physical and mental well-being, as well as your productivity, will improve dramatically when you switch from a multitasking way of life to a single-tasking one. Let's take a closer look at single-tasking. Let's say you have multiple assignments coming up at work. Instead of trying to juggle all the tasks at once, take them one by one. Create a priority list to know which items you want to complete first. Many people recommend starting with the assignment you want to do the least. This will make all the following assignments go much smoother. Once you make your priority list, start doing all of the items one at a time. Do not move on to the next task until the one you're currently working on is completely finished. Make sure to take breaks between each task to keep you energized and upbeat. Final thoughts. All around, you should single task way more often than you multitask. Anytime you're at work or doing anything of importance, you should be focusing on one task at a time so as to make the most of your brain's power. The only time you should be multitasking is when you're on autopilot, which rarely happens. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you about the best work-to-break ratio according to science. When most people talk about productivity and staying focused at work, they only focus on when you are actually working. They fail to mention that you must take breaks to stay motivated and focused throughout the day. Still, both taking too many or too few breaks can hinder your performance. So it is important to find a happy balance in your work-to-break ratio throughout the day. Let's get started and learn how to take breaks more effectively. Why breaks matter. Before digging into the proper ratio, let's talk about why it is important to take breaks. Simply put, our brains are not equipped to be on all the time. According to science, our brains need at most 1 hour of work followed by 15 minutes of rest. By creating a structure in our work periods, we are less likely to be enticed by temptations such as Facebook or non-work-related emails. In other words, breaks give our brains a time to rest so that we can be fully tuned in during the work portion. The Pomodoro Technique. Although you can certainly try the 1 hour on and 15 minutes off approach, you will likely find it very challenging at first. Unless you've already been working towards focus, you probably need more breaks. That's where the Pomodoro Technique comes into play. The Pomodoro Technique is considered one of the most effective time management methods. It allows you to have structured work and break times so that your brain gets into a consistent, focused flow. Still, the Pomodoro technique gives you shorter breaks that are dispersed more frequently. Let's take a closer look at this technique. With the Pomodoro technique, decide on what task you need to do first, then set a Pomodoro timer for how long you want to work. This time is traditionally set for 25 minutes, but you can change the time based on your personal preference and current abilities. Work until the timer rings. Then take a 3 to 5 minute break. Get back to work once that short break is up and set the timer for 25 minutes again. Repeat this process 4 times. After the fourth 25-minute working session, take a longer break. This break should be between 15 and 30 minutes. After the 30-minute break is up, start over, beginning with a 25-minute work session and 5-minute break. It is important that you use up all of your working time. Even if the decided-on task is completed, use that time to review the task or plan for your upcoming task. Build up your concentration. As I already mentioned, the Pomodoro technique traditionally uses cycles of 25 minutes. Although this is a really good starting point, it is important to try to build up your concentration levels. Science tells us that our brain works optimally for 1 hour. That hour should be followed by a 15-minute break. Start with the traditional 25-minute cycle. As you get used to concentrating for 25 minutes at a time, increase the working time between breaks. Once you're able to concentrate for 1 hour, you know that you've built up your concentration skills for optimal work. All around, science tells us that working for 1 hour and resting for 15 minutes is the most effective way to stay productive and focused. Use the Pomodoro technique to build up your concentration. Today I'm going to talk to you about how what you do during your free time affects your productivity. When most people talk about staying focused and productive, they only emphasize activities done at work or when you need to be focused. What people tend to forget is that how you live your life outside of work largely impacts your focus and productivity too. Let's take a look at 4 important things you must do outside of work to stay focused. 1. Fuel up right. Our bodies need healthy food for fuel. If you only load your body up with processed food, sugar, and simple carbohydrates, it's going to be hard for you to stay focused and productive during your day. Instead, the best fuel type includes complex carbohydrates, fats, and protein. These different types of food will keep your brain functioning at optimal levels. Additionally, they will take longer to break down, which means that you'll be fuller and more energized for longer. Make sure to eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Plus, keep healthy snacks on you to fuel up when you get hungry at work. 2. Drink water. In addition to food, you need to drink enough water. Our body is made up of primarily water. If you only drink coffee, sodas, and sugary drinks, you're not only going to be putting on extra calories, but you're going to be neglecting your body's most basic needs as well. You might be thinking that water doesn't have that big of an impact on productivity and focus. That could not be further from the truth. Water helps your brain to function as it should. More so, water can be more energizing than a cup of coffee at times. 3. Exercise. Something else you need to do to remain productive is exercise regularly. Exercising ensures that your body is working as it should. It's a good idea to have 3 intense workouts a week. If you currently do not work out at all, then start slow and build up your endurance. The more you exercise, the healthier you will be. As a result, your brain will most likely be working at peak condition, helping you to remain focused and productive. Another benefit of exercising is that it will help you sleep more. 4. Sleep well. Speaking of sleep, make sure you get enough shut-eye every night. Sleeping gives your body a chance to reset and restore itself. If you did not get enough sleep, it is impossible for you to have the focus or energy levels that you require to remain productive. Generally speaking, you should shoot for about 8 hours of sleep. Certain people may need an hour or so more or less, but try to shoot for a consistent sleep schedule, no matter who you are. If you exercise, you're more likely to sleep more. Additionally, eating clean foods will help to prevent you getting a sugar overload before you get into bed. Final thoughts. All in all, some of the most basic elements of your life will determine your productivity levels at work. This includes what you eat, what you drink, how you move, and how you sleep. Make sure to not neglect any of these aspects of your life because it will lead to poor physical and mental health, resulting in poor productivity as well.